Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorials brought to you by Photoshop Elements Custom Tutorials Group. And let's jump right in with today's poster. Want us to know how to make a grid outline template for your photos. So let's say you're printing here. This is a 4" by 6" photos, and you bring in the grid lines to match your printer's edges. And you know that the printer's going to stop at this point, and you have a bunch of different photos you want to bring in to print those 4x6s. So you can use these guidelines, or you can make a template that mimics those guidelines. In order to make that template, what I'm going to do is create an outline here of those grid lines and then save it as a separate Photoshop Elements template. So what we're going to do is temporarily change the color of this white to black so we can see what we're doing. So we go to the color palette, choose black and hit OK. Get the paint bucket and then just click in the middle, and there we go. We just made the whole page black. Now we can really see the grid lines. So now let's cut a hole in that black that matches the grid lines. So I'm going to zoom in, and once we're ready, just come up here, make sure under view that the guides is checked, and we can snap to the guides. Now as soon as we come close to this and I hit the left mouse button, it automatically snapped to those blue guidelines. While holding down the left mouse button, let's go down to the bottom right, and it's going to take a second here because it's slowly going over, and you can see where the measurement lines are getting closer to the other edge. Now, still while holding the left mouse button, I'm going to bring this back up here and match those grid lines right there on the inside here, and I'm going to let go of the mouse, and it's going to snap to those grid lines. I'm going to zoom back out, and as soon as I hit enter, it's going to cut a hole in that layer. That's layer number 1. Now I can get rid of my grid lines, so I'll just snap those back out to the ruler section, and it leaves us basically our new template layer. Now what we want to do is change that color from black back to white. So we go to the color palette and choose white with the left mouse button, hit OK, take the paint bucket, and then click in here along the black right there, and it turns it white. And that's basically it. I want to make this layer 50% opacity. So I go up here to opacity and click down here and bring that down to 50%. And basically now we want to just go to File, Save As, and then go to Desktop, and I'm going to call this
4x6 photo frame template.
Make sure it's saved as a Photoshop PSD right there, and hit Save. And as you can see, it just popped up right here. So I'm going to close out on that again. And now we have us a 4x6 photo template with the printer edges built in. So we double click on that, and it opens up like that with a 50% opacity. So now when we bring in a picture, here's our snowman picture. We're going to drag that in with the left mouse button. It's going to open up a new tab. And this is our photo. It doesn't matter what size the photo is, because as soon as we bring it into our 4x6, it's going to be either too small or too big. And that's okay. So we just unlock this photo by clicking there, grab the photo with the left mouse button, and drag it over to the other tab. Now we can come back down and let go of the mouse button, and there it is. It's obviously too big, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller by grabbing the corners like this and like that. And one more thing is it's in the wrong layer. So here's our template layer. Let's bring the photo down below the template layer, and watch what happens. Boom. Now you can see the actual template. We can resize this. Needs some cropping. I'll just go ahead and make the photo a little bigger to fit the frame a little better. And I like it right around there. Once we got it where we like it, all we got to do is take that frame layer and change that opacity from 50 back up to 100. And that's all there is to it. And it doesn't matter what photo we bring in. Let's bring in another one and unlock it and drag it over to the same project. I'll come over here and I'll let go of that. Obviously it's in the wrong layer, so I have to bring that layer down one and grab the photo. It's really huge, and just reduce the size. And now that we zoomed in, we can resize it, which obviously has to be a little bit bigger to fill in the frame, and that's looking pretty good. And you can see how this frame doesn't change. If it gets in the way when you're trying to grab it, you can always lock the frame and then bring in photos separately and then drag them into that project. drag it down here, let go. It's obviously way too big, so we're going to make it a little bit smaller, like so. And it's on the wrong layer once again, so we got to drag it down below our template layer, and there it is. And we're going to resize that until we're happy. Right around there, and that's looking pretty good. So now we got 3 separate photos, this one, and this one, and they all have our pre-made printer edge cutout. And all we got to do is take the cropping tool when we're done, and we can start in the top left and just take it down to the bottom right and let go, hit OK, and that's all there is to it. Save these on your desktop and you're good to go. Well, this is Rich for this tutorial. Calling it quits, saying over and out.